Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we are diving into some absolutely fascinating source material to explore the crucial blueprint of relationship health. We're talking about the architecture of emotional safety. So let's take a really close look at that invisible foundation that holds up the strongest, most resilient couples out there.
Let's kick things off with a question that, honestly, might hit a little close to home. Have you ever felt totally trapped in a state of relational anxiety? Constantly rehearsing your words in your head before you say them just to avoid a blowout? It's a highly stressful condition that people often call walking on eggshells. And man, the mental gymnastics required to simply communicate with the person you're supposed to be closest to, that can literally drain the life right out of a relationship. Today, we're going to look at the exact opposite of that anxiety.
Here's our blueprint for this explainer. We'll start with part 1, walking on eggshells, then move into part 2, defining emotional safety. After that, part 3 covers red flags and warning signs. Part 4 is building predictability and trust. And finally, part 5, using safe language.
Okay, part 1, walking on eggshells, the anxiety of the unsaid.
Moving right along to section 2, defining emotional safety, laying the foundation.
So how does a source actually define this? Well, emotional safety is best thought of as the relational atmosphere you live in. It's like the invisible air you and your partner breathe every single day. When it's healthy, it allows you to express your deepest ideas and feelings with total confidence. Why? Because you know you're completely supported and secure. You have the fundamental right to be honest, to be imperfect, and to simply be human without bracing for impact or expecting to be punished for it.
And this brilliantly illustrates why creating this safety isn't just about being nice or polite to one another. Being nice is great, but emotional safety goes so much deeper than that. It is the absolute prerequisite for love, for trust, and for authenticity. Without this bedrock paving the way, lasting permanent positive change in your relationship simply cannot occur. You can't build a skyscraper on a swamp, and you absolutely cannot build lasting love on a foundation of anxiety.
Now, psychologists actually measure this safety by looking for high levels of predictability and consistency. In a safe relationship, when disagreements inevitably happen, and let's be real, they will for sure happen, the conflict stays focused strictly on the actual issue. It doesn't just suddenly deteriorate into a character attack. If you're arguing about the dishes, well, you're arguing about the dishes. You aren't suddenly attacking your partner's core personality. When this healthy relational atmosphere is present, another really amazing thing happens. You feel completely free to ask for what you need. Sometimes, that means asking for deep intimacy and closeness. Other times, it means asking for a little bit of breathing space. In a truly safe dynamic, you can make either request without that paralyzing fear of being abandoned, or, on the flip side, fearing that your partner will try to control you.
Which brings us to section 3, red flags and warning signs, termites in the foundation.
The source material outlines several major warning signs here. We're talking about everything from stonewalling to contempt to weaponizing vulnerability. But a massive initial red flag? That's if you find yourself constantly managing your partner's emotions just to keep the peace. If your daily goal is just to ensure your partner doesn't get upset, you aren't really in a partnership. You're on eggshell patrol.
Now, that specific red flag of weaponizing vulnerability is particularly destructive. This is when you share a deep, private fear with your partner in a moment of trust, and they kind of just log it away, only to bring it up later as leverage in a completely unrelated argument. When honesty reliably leads to your private fears being used against you or results in contempt and stonewalling, it utterly shatters the atmosphere of trust. That's no longer just a communication glitch. It's a severe relationship health problem.
Okay, let's look at section 4, building predictability and trust, repairing the house.
So, if your relationship is feeling a bit fragile after seeing those red flags, take a deep breath. It's okay. The source material outlines how to effectively repair and rebuild through a few sequential steps. It starts with repeated, small experiences of predictability. Then, you actually have to model the behavior you want to see. You must treat what your partner shares as inherently valuable and important, which is exactly how you want your own sharing to be treated, right? It's really all about setting the gold standard through your own actions.
To expand on that final step of empathetic listening, here's a secret that can honestly change everything. You must intentionally resist the urge to provide quick fixes. When your partner is sharing something heavy, they usually aren't looking for a project manager. They're looking for a partner. True empathetic listening means holding the space for them and expressing genuine confidence in their own ability to handle their feelings.
Ultimately, applying these tools ensures that both of you can successfully self-regulate when tensions inevitably rise. Because stress is a guarantee in life, right? But emotional chaos? That is a choice. By building predictability and practicing empathy, you keep your foundation stable. This allows you both to navigate those stressful moments without tearing down the house you've worked so hard to build.
And that leads us to our final part, Section 5, using safe language, everyday tools for security.
There is such a powerful contrast in how we communicate. Saying something like, "you're too sensitive," is profoundly unsafe. It completely shuts your partner down, invalidates their reality, and just destroys trust. Whereas using safe language, like saying, "actually, I didn't like that, but I really want to understand," is an absolute game changer. It acknowledges the friction, sure, but it immediately invites understanding and builds security. It leaves the door open instead of slamming it shut.
This beautiful metaphor from the source material really brings it all together. It reminds us that architectural strength and love doesn't come from expensive vacations or grand, sweeping gestures. No, it comes entirely from those tiny, seemingly insignificant everyday choices to simply remain connected. It's built every single time you choose to turn towards your partner's bid for connection instead of turning away.
So I want to leave you with this provocative thought and just ask our community a question. What is one phrase that you or your partner use that immediately makes a tough conversation feel safer? Let's share some of our own safe language in the comments below. By sharing these everyday tools, we can help each other build healthier, more secure connections together. If you found the insights in this explainer helpful, be sure to engage with us and keep learning. Thanks so much for joining me on this deep dive.